Daniel, who is she?
That not your business.
Daniel, who is this local woman here?
She's a nobody.
Monica had always believed that love could fix anything. Even as a child, when life was already showing her its cruel side, she held on to that belief like it was the only thing keeping her alive. She grew up in a quiet, forgotten part of the city where people struggled just to get through each day. Her parents had died when she was barely 10 years old, leaving her in the care of a distant aunt who saw her more as a burden than family. By the time Monica turned 18, she had already learned how to survive on her own. Not live, survive. Every morning before the sun rose, Monica would wake up in her tiny, poorly ventilated room. The ceiling was stained from years of leakage, and the single window barely let in enough light. Her mattress was thin, almost flat, but she never complained. She couldn't afford to. She would quickly wash up with cold water, tie her hair neatly, and put on her faded uniform before heading to work. Monica worked at a small but popular roadside restaurant called Golden Spoon Kitchen. It wasn't a fancy place, but it was always busy. The smell of fried rice, grilled chicken, and spicy stew filled the air from morning till night. Customers came in constantly, workers, students, drivers, all looking for a quick, affordable meal. And Monica was one of the invisible people who kept the place running. She was a cleaner. She wiped tables, washed plates, swept floors, and sometimes even helped in the kitchen when things got too hectic. Her hands were always wet, her back often aching, but she never stopped moving. "Monica, table 5 is dirty," her boss, Mrs. Peters, shouted one busy afternoon. "I'm coming, ma," Monica replied quickly, rushing over with a cloth in her hand. Despite how hard she worked, Monica was rarely appreciated. Customers barely noticed her. Some spoke to her rudely, others acted like she didn't exist. But Monica would always smile. Always. Because that was who she was. There was something different about Monica, something rare. She was kind. Not the kind of kindness people show when it's convenient, but the kind that comes from deep within, a genuine, selfless heart. If someone was hungry and couldn't afford food, Monica would secretly give them her own portion. If a co-worker was tired, she would help them finish their work. Even when she had nothing, she still gave. But kindness, as Monica would soon learn, can sometimes be a curse. One evening, after a long and exhausting day, the sky suddenly grew dark. Heavy clouds gathered, and within minutes, rain began to pour. Customers rushed out of Golden Spoon Kitchen, trying to avoid getting drenched. The once busy restaurant became quiet. Monica stood by the entrance, watching the rain fall heavily onto the muddy road. She had no umbrella and no money to take a ride home, so she waited, hoping the rain would slow down. Minutes passed, then an hour. The rain didn't stop. Instead, it got heavier. Monica wrapped her arms around herself, shivering slightly as the cold wind blew against her thin clothes. "Why today?" she whispered softly. She was tired, hungry, and now stuck. That was when a car pulled up in front of the restaurant. A sleek, dark car. The kind of car Monica had only seen from a distance. The engine went quiet, and the window slowly rolled down. Inside was a young man, well-dressed, clean, confident. He looked completely out of place in Monica's world. "Why are you standing in the rain?" he asked. His voice was calm, gentle. Monica hesitated before answering. "I'm waiting for it to stop," she said softly. He glanced at the sky briefly, then back at her. "It's not stopping anytime soon. Etin, I'll drop you." Monica froze. Her heart began to beat faster. She had been taught to be careful, to not trust strangers, but something about him felt different, safe. "I don't bite," he added with a small smile. That smile, it made her let her guard down. Slowly, Monica stepped closer to the car, then she opened the door and got in. That moment changed everything. The inside of the car was warm, comfortable. A sharp contrast to the cold world Monica was used to. She sat quietly, unsure of what to say. The man started the engine and drove off. "What's your name?" he asked. "Monica," she replied. "I'm Daniel." Daniel. The name echoed in her mind. "Where do you live?" he asked, slightly embarrassed. "It's not far, just by Old Market Street." Daniel nodded. "I know the area." The ride was quiet first, but not uncomfortable. For some reason, Monica felt at ease, and for the first time in a long time, she didn't feel invisible. As they drove, Daniel glanced at her. "You work there?" he asked, referring to the restaurant. "Yes." "All day?" Monica nodded. "Yes." Daniel frowned slightly. "That must be tough." Monica gave a small smile. "I'm used to it." Used to it. Those 3 words carried a lifetime of struggle. When they finally arrived at her street, the car slowed. Daniel looked around briefly, noticing the poor condition of the area. Small houses, broken roads, dim lights. "This is fine," Monica said quickly, pointing ahead. Daniel stopped. Monica opened the door, then paused. "Thank you," she said, sincerely. Daniel smiled. "You're welcome." Monica stepped out of the car and closed the door. As she walked toward her house, she felt something strange, a feeling she hadn't felt in a long time. Hope. She didn't know it yet, but that ride was the beginning of her story and the beginning of her heartbreak. As you are enjoying this story, please don't forget to hit the subscribe button. The night Monica met Daniel should have been just another rainy evening. But it wasn't. It became the beginning of everything and the beginning of her end. After that night, Daniel didn't disappear like most strangers would. He came back. At first, it was simple. He would stop by Golden Spoon Kitchen occasionally, pretending he just wanted food. But Monica noticed something. He always chose a seat where he could see her clearly, and sometimes he smiled at her. "Your friend is here again," one of the waitresses teased. Monica looked up shyly. Daniel was seated quietly, watching her. Her heart skipped. Days turned into weeks. Daniel started waiting for her after work. Sometimes he would offer her a ride home. Other times, they would just stand by the roadside talking for a few minutes. Monica wasn't used to attention, especially not from someone like Daniel. "You work too hard," he said one evening as they sat inside his car. Monica smiled faintly. "I have to." Daniel looked at her closely. "You deserve better." Those words, they meant everything to Monica because no one had ever said them to her before. Slowly, Monica began to open up. She told him about her parents, her struggles, her lonely life, and Daniel listened. He listened like someone who cared. That was how she fell in love. Not suddenly, not forcefully, but gently, deeply, completely. Daniel wasn't rich like Monica first thought. He was just trying to become something. He had dreams, big ones, but he lacked support. And Monica became that support. When Daniel complained about not having money for a professional course, Monica didn't hesitate. She used her savings, every last kobo. "Monica, you don't have to do this," Daniel said, but he didn't stop her. When his rent was due, Monica paid part of it. When he needed new clothes for an interview, Monica borrowed money just to help him. She didn't see it as sacrifice. To her, it was love. At Golden Spoon Kitchen, Monica began working longer hours. She took extra shifts, she skipped meals. Sometimes she fainted from exhaustion, but she would wake up and continue working. "Monica, you will kill yourself one day," her co-worker warned. But Monica only smiled. "I'm doing it for someone I love." She believed in Daniel, even more than she believed in herself. After years of struggle, Daniel finally got his breakthrough, a high-paying job in a big company. Everything changed. The first time he told Monica, she cried, not out of sadness, but joy. "We made it," she whispered, holding his hand. Daniel smiled. "Yes, we did." But those words, they were not entirely true. At first, everything seemed fine. Daniel started earning well, he moved into a better apartment, he dressed better, he spoke differently, and slowly he began to drift away. "I'm busy," he would say. "Work is stressful. I'll call you later." But later rarely came. Monica waited every day, every night. She still worked at Golden Spoon Kitchen, still struggling, still hoping. One night, she decided to surprise him. She used the little money she had to cook his favorite meal. She decorated her small room with candles. She even wore her best dress. She waited and waited and waited. Daniel never came. Her phone buzzed hours later. A message. "I'm busy. Stop disturbing me." Monica stared at the message for a long time. Something inside her broke. Days later, Monica gathered the courage to visit Daniel's office. She wanted to see him, to talk, to understand what was happening. When she arrived, she saw him, standing outside the building, laughing, happy, free, but not alone. A beautiful woman stood beside him, elegant, rich, confident. She was holding Daniel's hand. Monica's heart dropped. She walked closer slowly. Her legs felt heavy. Her chest tightened. "Daniel," she called softly. He turned, and for a brief second, he looked shocked, but then his face hardened. "Why are you here?" he asked coldly. Monica felt her voice shake. "I came to see you." The woman beside him looked Monica up and down. "Who is she?" she asked. There was a moment of silence, a moment that could have changed everything, but Daniel made his choice. "She's nobody." Those words shattered Monica completely. She's nobody. After everything, she was nothing. "Daniel, I'm the one who—" "Stop," he snapped. "You're embarrassing yourself." Tears streamed down Monica's face. "I loved you." Daniel looked away. "I've moved on. You should too." The woman beside him smacked and tightened his grip on his hand. Monica felt like the world had ended. That day changed Monica forever. She stopped smiling, stopped talking, stopped eating properly. At Golden Spoon Kitchen, her performance dropped. She made mistakes. She broke plates. She forgot orders. One day, Mrs. Peters called her. "Monica, I've tried to be patient, but this can't continue." Monica stood quietly, her eyes empty. "You are fired." Just like that, she lost her job, the only thing she had left. Days passed. Monica had no money, no food, no hope. Her room became darker, colder, lonelier. She sat on the floor one night, staring into nothing. Tears rolled silently down her cheeks. "I loved with all my heart, but it was never enough," she whispered. Her voice broke. "Why wasn't I enough?" No answer came, only silence. That night, Monica made a decision. The next morning, neighbors gathered outside her room. The door was slightly open. Inside, Monica lay still, cold, lifeless, gone. Beside her was a small piece of paper. It read, "I loved with all my heart, but it was never enough." Somewhere in the city, life continued. Daniel moved on, became more successful, forgot everything. But Monica's story remained, a story of love, sacrifice, and the painful truth that sometimes a pure heart suffers the most. The end. Don't forget to subscribe for more interesting African stories.